Trump's ballot access case on trial. As the Supreme Court reviews Colorado's decision to remove Donald Trump from the ballot, press delusions multiply. Reading news on a flight to Las Vegas for tonight's caucus. The CNN headline, Supreme Court faces its greatest test yet from Trump. Oral arguments are being heard in the High Court today in Donald Trump's ballot access case, about which CNN commentator Stephen Collinson seems to have no opinion, apart from being sure Trump's response to its adjudication will be sociopathic and inhuman civilization as we know it. Few critical U.S. democratic institutions have escaped unsullied from a tangle with Donald Trump. Given Trump's habitual refusal to accept the rules and results of elections, no one would be surprised if the court is dragged deeper into the partisan fray before or after November's presidential election. No modern president has gone further than Trump in daring to shatter the notion that judges are obligated to pursue a higher calling than partisan politics, preserving the rule of law. He goes on, the 4 times criminally indicted Trump repeatedly sets out to lean on or discredit institutions that can hold him accountable, restrain his power, or contradict his incessantly spun alternative realities. His mantra of victimization is now at the center of a presidential campaign based on the perception that he's being politically persecuted. History shows that however the court rules, Trump's response will be filtered through his highly developed sense of injustice and suspicion of institutions of accountability and his often self-serving interpretation of the law. Every day for 9 years now, it's been the same redundant passages in quantity, the same devotional rituals, no different from the ceremonial slaughtered pigs or goats nervous aristocrats used to offer up in classical times. I'm convinced most pundits and even most senior Democrats know by now that these endless lawsuits, with accompanying Trump as Antichrist press bleedings, cut against them politically. But because the cause is religious rather than strategic, they're not able to stop. The cause will take them where it takes them, beginning with this current clash with the Supreme Court, which I'd guess won't uphold the Colorado Supreme Court decision, but weirder things have happened of late. Update, 10:56 a.m. ET. Listening on the plane to oral arguments. Through choppy reception and the imperfect lens of legal amateur judgment, the colloquy between Trump attorney Jonathan Mitchell and the justices didn't seem to go well for Mitchell. Justices focused a lot on Trump's petitioner brief, and especially the line, as Section 3 prohibits individuals only from holding office, not from seeking or winning election to office. Mitchell's argument ended with Ketanji Brown Jackson demanding he explain why he didn't believe what happened on January 6, 2021, was an insurrection. Mitchell answered that one of the reasons was an insurrection had to be an organized and violent attempt to overthrow the government. So a chaotic attempt qualifies, Brown Jackson snapped. Mitchell paused, tried to explain this was just one of their reasons, and that what happened was a riot and not an insurrection, before wrapping up. Again, I haven't spent a lot of time listening to Supreme Court exchanges, but it felt like Mitchell was swimming upstream, at times against his own brief. 11:28 a.m. ET. Now attorney Jason Murray, who represents the Colorado voters who are the technical plaintiffs in this case, Murray represents the Democrats, is under siege from the likes of Samuel Alito and Neil Gorsuch. Murray appeared to talk himself into a jackpot, saying Trump was disqualified from the moment it happens, i.e. from the moment he committed insurrection. This led Alito to ask if a military officer could have refused an order from Trump at that moment, to which Murray seemed to say no. Gorsuch blew up here, essentially retorting, "But you just said..." Murray managed to climb out of the death pit a few minutes later, but that felt like a 10-8 round. 2:20 p.m. ET. Okay, listen to the whole Murray section on the way to the Strip, and I've changed my mind. It felt like a pile-on after a while, with even some of the blue-leaning justices knocking Murray around. Kagan definitely seemed to turn against the challengers, and even Brown Jackson sounded like her heart wasn't in it. It seemed like the justices were preparing to coalesce around an argument that one state shouldn't be able to decide the fate of the whole country, what Roberts called a daunting consequence. As usual, one should add the caveat that judges sometimes act one way in court and another way on paper, but it felt like a rough go for the Colorado crew at the end. More than anything, I got the sense these judges don't want to be accused of settling an election. More updates to come. Thanks for listening to the audio version of this article. For more, visit racket.news.